Hey everybody, it's Durgertime. Thank you for joining me once again for another episode of Total Extreme Wrestling 2016, Billy Corgan's NWA. And we just got done Wrestlewar. It could have gone better. Overall, we had a 54 with 3,400 in attendance. Not, horrendously crazy numbers here, but it was fine. Some confusion, I know. I want to clarify with one of the events in which Brody Lee actually lost to Eli Drake. I know previously we had mentioned that the medallions of the Founders Championship would always be on the line, right? I think there was some confusion over whether the belt itself, once it turns into the Founders Championship, is on the line too. I may have misspoke and said that it did, but in my head, the idea was the medallions, until they were formed, were kind of always up for grabs. But once the Founders Champion is solidified, all 5 of the Founders medallions are put together, the belt is now basically whole, and until it is used and then redispersed again, it can only be taken from like a challenge. So like, it's like someone were to challenge Brody Lee for the belt and he accepted, it could go on the line, or if shenanigans happened and someone, forced him to fight for his own belt, that could happen. But until he cashes it in, it's his. So even though he lost here, the Founders Championship did not transfer hands. But we still have Brody Lee having the title and potentially becoming a problem for Jericho in the future. Jericho is still NWA Worlds Heavyweight Champion, and Nick Aldis has not won his shot, goes plummeting back down to the upper mid-card to give everybody else an opportunity. And that's pretty much where we had last left it. Now we have NWA Power to attest to, and of course we had a major firing because New Jack had a problem, and now we got problems with New Jack. So he's gone. I think it was the quickest hire to fire that we've ever had. But that is what it is, I suppose. Let's go ahead and let's book Power. We're gonna do another 2-episode one today. We're trying to get through as many weeks as we can until we get to April, May. Now, I'm not super concerned because I am going to actually be rebuilding this save. I kind of decided that with the complications with the modding scene, it looks like it's going to be a little bit longer for a lot of mods to come out. So, expect a little bit of a delay, a little bit of a hiatus between, I guess I'm going to end up calling it, it's not going to be called Season 4, but it's going to be basically the reboot of this series, a continuation. We're going to wait for a new mod to kind of come out and really have all of the bells and whistles in it. I don't want to just transfer and convert the save like I was originally intending to. So that's kind of the status of this save right now. And what I'll do is wherever we leave off, we will kick back on, maybe skip ahead like a month or something like that, just to kind of get it closer to real time, because I like these saves to kind of go roughly within real time. And we're going to just kind of rebuild whatever it is in the existing mod. So shouldn't be too much of a big deal. We'll just kind of carry over our momentum and everything else. But expect that to be a little bit delayed while we are waiting for a decent conversion of a real-world mod. I might end up using the Killing the Business mod. Is looking pretty solid, and I'm liking some of the early developments of that. And we'll kind of probably look at that on the channel as well as I kind of do some mod reviews. But anyways, I've rambled too long. 5 minutes into this video, nothing's happened. So let's go ahead. Let's get over to Power and let's start booking our show. We have about 4 weeks, I think. So about 1 month until Mid-Atlantic Mayhem. And that'll be our next pay-per-view. Let's go ahead and get over to Power. All right, we do have something here. Pay raise from Marshall. I'll give you 75 so you won't get upset. But I'm not necessarily thinking you're actually worth that right now. anything going on in the news? Nothing really that we have to worry about, at least. Do have some morale issues that are going to be a problem. Some of them will solve themselves, like Sasha Banks won't be here for much longer, and we won't have to worry about that. I think, when's her contract up? Actually, it'd probably be easier just to look over here in the roster, because we are planning on jobbing her out. Contract deals. Sasha's doesn't actually end to 134 days, so, but we're still planning on letting her go. So I'm probably gonna have her job out at Mid Atlantic Mayhem. We already, I believe, stripped the title from her, if I remember correctly. We have it, give it to Tessa Blanchard, and that will probably stay on her. But we'll job Sasha out to somebody else. I haven't decided who yet, so we'll kind of figure that out. Could be Ashley Vox. I kind of like the idea of jobbing it out to one of our only actual faces. So either Skylar or where is she? Kimberly. Pretty much one of our only other faces. As we kind of develop her, we got to develop her popularity, but that's fine. That can happen over time. Maybe we just have her really job her out and then just have her quit and fire her. Not a big deal. We just got to keep people away from her so that people aren't like her, but I think we'll be fine with it. Yep, our backstage looks bad. Hopefully we can fix that. Eli Drake was being obnoxious and beat up Victor after a fight broke out between them. Oh boy. I'm gonna fine Eli Drake. He's very unhappy with the decision. And Jason Cade and Scott Steiner. Jason Cade was brought towards the wrestler's court, accusing shaking his hand. That's fine. So, okay, let's clear the air, I guess. A lot of irritation, a lot of annoyment. Let them get a little bit of a morale boost from that. It's going to dip our backstage rating. But, oh, God. Look at how much damage New Jack did in 2 weeks. Oh, what a mistake that was. We knew it was. Oh, and we got to get out of our YouTube contract, too. So, I think what we're going to do is I'm going to add some money, the amount of money that it would take to breach the contract and get out of that contract, because it's a disaster for us financially. We're never going to financially recover from this one, so we're going to have to get rid of it and do it quickly. All right, let's book. Storyline wise, I feel like we're kind of done the Pillman story, so we can end it here. Brody still is moving on. Eli Drake, we need to give him somebody else to face. So we're going to end that now and give him something else to do. Colt Josephus is still building up. And we actually should add Flip to that. Because he's kind of the antagonist to Colt Cabana now. Tag division still doing it. Still have our 10 pounds of gold story, though I think we need to change who's involved. And then Sasha Banks, we're going to have probably a conclusion in a month. So we got to add some new stuff. I'm going to add some new storylines, I think, or at least maybe change these. Probably should add some people to this. Maybe even consolidate Brody into the 10 pounds of gold story. Is probably actually the better idea. So let's do that real quick. Tim Storm's basically out of this storyline at this point. Billy Corgan's actually not that involved that much. We're going to do something else with him soon. Well, we have to build a storyline for the our founders, our boardroom as well. We'll have to do something with that. But let's add Brody into this. Oops, nope, I don't want to do that. Because very quickly, Brody, if not this pay-per-view or maybe the next, will probably end up having a major involvement in the storyline. I'm also going to add Brian Pillman. I feel like at this point, we can probably push him up and have him contest the 10 pounds of gold. Kind of make a run for it. Could be interesting. Maybe he even can be Chris Jericho's next opponent, which would be kind of fun to see. Win or lose. If he won, I don't think Jericho's going to let us, but we could do something interesting. All right, let's book the show and start to build up our Mid-Atlantic Mayhem story arc. All right, guys, we got a NWA Power in the bag. Let's go ahead and take a look at what we got. So we start off with Kimberly and Skylar versus Allison Kay and Nicole Matthews. I'm trying to build up Kimberly now at this point. So, this match is actually not horrendous. We got Kimberly and Skylar defeating Allison Kay and Nicole Matthews in 5 minutes. Kimberly defeated Nicole Matthews by pinfall. We did lose heat in our Sasha Banks storyline, which is kind of be expected. Kimberly was the standout in terms of in-ring performance, but not too far behind for some of them. No in-ring skill improvements. Honestly, it's not horrible. This was a work the crowd match, and we did not work the crowd. Well, actually, maybe it did get the show off to a strong start, so it did its goal, I suppose. So it could be better, could be worse, but we do start to build that legitimacy for Kimberly. Hopefully, continuing her popularity boost, and when we get to Sasha, we'll deal with it because I still think Sasha's going to be pretty upset. And we start off the show officially, I suppose, with an angle by Brian Pillman Jr., still the Carl's Jr.'s Presents NWA North American Champion, and as part of that is contracted to do an occasional sponsorship commercial, and this one does not go to plan. He seems frustrated, and after starting his diatribe about, holding the Carl's Jr. sandwich in his hands, he kind of just stops, and he just starts trashing on Carl's Jr. He says, "I can't do it anymore. Carl's Jr., these burgers are trash. Their commercials are stupid. Their burgers are garbage. No, seriously, they taste like deep-fried garbage that's been cooked in a month-old grease. Who would eat this crap? Why is this part of such a prestigious title? This belt represents the fact that I am one of the best wrestlers on the continent. I'm a rising star, ready for greatness. I'm the freaking champion of North America, not the champion of childhood obesity. I can tell you right now, no great wrestler in history has eaten at Carl's Jr." He grabs a Sharpie marker off the table next to him, and then he defaces the Carl's Jr. Presents logo, just scratching it out with a Sharpie marker. The camera quickly cuts back. Clearly someone behind the stage kind of finished it off and was like, no, gotta get out of this. And we're just left to two shocked announcers at the announce table, not really sure how to handle the situation. So, we got Pillman basically trashing on Carl's Jr. The deal with Carl's Jr. happened because Paul Pinky George took control of Billy Corgan's NWA and started to sell pieces of it off, which is what the board of directors want. And they probably are not going to be too happy with him probably ruining this sponsorship. Got the crowd hotter. Crowd also doesn't like Carl's Jr. apparently. And we did a pretty good rating, a C- with him. Pretty good. Very happy with that segment. This is surprisingly worse, which I kind of shocked by. Brody Lee has a backstage vignette, and it's a pre-recorded shot with him. He's still wearing one pair of handcuffs around his wrist, and he's calling out the board. He says, the board wants to play games. They want to use their numbers to crush me, to crush anybody else that gets in their way. Well, maybe that works with these weak baby birds. but I'm not some squall for you to shoot down when you're with your rich friends on the weekend. Very clearly, this is targeted towards Paul Pinky George. Though I could see Nick Aldis going out and shooting birds like an asshole, so maybe that's him too. I'm uncaged. I'm a predator. I smell prey. Just remember, you did this to yourselves. So, Brody Lee ready to pounce on the board of directors and the entire basically team around them, possibly even Paul Pinky, seemingly diverting all his attention for revenge. Oh boy, this is a bad match. It's an extremely short match. Colt Cabana, now brainwashed, handily defeats Royce Isaacs in 2 minutes by submission. Josephus ringside doing good work. They didn't click. It was pretty bad. Colt Cabana had a 46. Royce Isaacs had a 17. Ugh. That is a bad... Oh, man. Oh, God. After that, though, we have Flip Gordon coming out, and he's trying to reason with Colt Cabana, trying to kind of get into his head. But he gets grabbed by Josephus ringside. Josephus ends up attacking him and leveling him out. Seems like Flip Gordon's trying to get Colt Cabana back into the right mindset, but Josephus is ensuring that that's not going to happen. We start the deconversion storyline with the three of these, and rating's okay. Not anything to really talk about, but it's not horrible. Another not horrible but not great. We have Eli Drake in a match against Ricky Starks. And decent reaction from the crowd. Did have subpar wrestling. Eli Drake defeated Ricky Starks in 5 minutes. And yeah, it's not great. Ricky Starks is hanging in there with the 22. Got the crowd hotter. Tim Storm ringside cheering on Ricky Starks. Did good work. And obviously we're moving Tim Storm into more of a managerial role or an occasional wrestler role. I'm going to keep him around just because it pisses everybody off. So that's my plan, at least. And, Eli Drake put in a performance that we would expect. So overall, honestly, for a match mostly with him carrying it, it's not bad. This segment kind of bombed. I kind of thought this would be going a little bit better. Afterwards, Eli Drake is celebrating, and Eddie Kingston runs in and attacks him, beating him down in a mat. We start the storyline of Eddie Kingston hungry for action. He's been kind of on the wayside. He lost his tag team partner, Homicide, is basically gone from the company now, and it seems like he is targeting Eli Drake for something, and I'm sure we'll hear from him in a later NWA Power episode. Backstage, we see Nick Aldis talking to a very angry Paul Pinky George about something. Pinky's going back and forth between a phone and Nick Aldis, and he seems furious. Obviously, we can't hear what they're saying, but we know Nick Aldis is essentially the leader of the board, which is the board of directors' kind of personal army now, led by Paul Pinky George. And it seems like they're planning something. They're upset about something that has just happened. The board of directors storyline officially starts. We're kind of transitioning to that. Pinky is getting better as a gimmick, which is nice. And overall, rating's not horrible. We got the Von Erichs versus Cade and Yuta in a kind of weird to say, but the Von Erichs is in a semi-main event match. Von Erichs defeat Cade and Yuta in 5 minutes. Ross ends up defeating Jason Cade by submission. Try to protect Wheeler a little bit. And Wheeler was off his game, so was Marshall, unfortunately. Overall, though, they're all about equally matched, and, we start the official Von Erichs legacy storyline. Again, we're kind of transitioning in new storylines, keeping it fresh. Not a bad way to start it. And for our main event, we have Nick Aldis versus Brian Pillman Jr. for the NWA North American title. And Pillman defeats Nick Aldis in 12 minutes with pinfall, makes defense number 3 of the title. They both are pretty good. Pillman's actually outpacing Nick Aldis in performance, which is great. Gained heat for the board of directors storyline. Overall, not a bad match rating for what we're looking for. And afterwards, we have a pretty decent way to end the show. The board officially comes out after the match and attack Brian Pillman, and the numbers overwhelm him. Brody Lee, though, decides that this is the time to enact his vengeance, and while everyone else is in the ring, he comes out and starts to clobber him, getting him off Brian Pillman. Not really making almost like an uneasy alliance between the two, but really he's out here to attack these guys. And it works out for Pillman, who gets a belay on the pummeling, as we have, obviously a madman coming out and laying out the rest of them and starting more heat with Aldis and him. Performance by Pillman Jr. was good, which is great, and still crowd's still not liking that heel turn. Board of Directors storyline does go ahead and gain some heat from this. Brody Lee is improving in his gimmick as well, which is nice. It ends the show with a 57, which is pretty good. Usually the ratings of this game go by your highest angle and your main event match. So both of these should end up pretty good for us. No. Yeah, we'll just skip ahead for now. So it ends us at a 54. Not too bad. We increase our popularity in 18 regions. Yeah, that's a pretty good show. And we actually sold out, I think, Power, the actual stadium. So we're going to have to start moving out of there at some point. All right, we got emails waiting. We'll go ahead and take a look at that. It looks like AEW had a pay-per-view, too. Let's take a look at that real quick, see what they did. 9,000 had a B-, not bad. Chris Jericho defeats Cody and retains the world title. Some interesting matches there. Dark Order went to a time limit draw with Cutler and Cassidy. Interesting. It's a weird one. And what do we have here for this? Kingston's extending a contract. That's fine. We had 0.21 TV rating, which is nice. It's a shame we're not getting any money from it. Josephus is a natural talker. Kid is worth giving promo time, in my opinion. Did you guys hear that? Colt Cabana proves that Josephus. Makes me happy. Studio had 2,000 fans. Feedback was excellent. Show went down really well. I'd agree. Makes me happy. And, yeah, not too bad. Not a bad show. We got one more in the bag, I think we're going to do. So let's go ahead and let's just switch on over to the next episode of Power. Try to hurdle this down and get another show in here so we can get closer to the current time and date so that we don't have that much of a leap ahead as we move into March. Oh, we're stopped for something. Let's see what it is. Probably another contract request. Blah, 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 blah. What do we got here? 510 that I'm worth. I'll give you the 75. We're going to get close to it. Still not going to do good for our money because we're still going to be losing some revenue. And still ashamed that we're not getting any TV revenue from that broadcasting deal. There's no way to get out of it either without just suspending it. Let's take a look at that too now. What would it cost to cancel? $1.8 million. Who could we get? Like what TV broadcasters are available to negotiate with? Like I would take a Hulu, right? We'll negotiate. We could get on Fight TV for subscriptions. Hulu Plus would take us. Sci-Fi Channel would take us. Pop would take us at this point. Sci-Fi would not be a bad option. They're pro modern wrestling, which is nice. I mean, we're not going to get the Canada numbers anymore, but that's not a big deal right now. All we really care about is the U.S. Now that would be a much better deal than what we're getting over here, because we're getting from Alphabet free to air, getting $0 commercials. We would get the money from the commercials. Well, you know, we're not going to worry about it now because we'll deal with it when we get to it. But it's still a bummer that we're not making any money, not even ad revenue. Kind of unrealistic because on YouTube, you know, it's free to air, but you would be getting nominal amounts of AdSense and stuff like that, you know, and so you at least get some money. It would be lower than anything else, but and then, you know, you have your regular sponsorships, which are accounted for in here within the income, which basically is sponsors. So like that is still there, but it's a little unrealistic, and we're not getting anything from YouTube. But you know, it's as close as we can get. Still morale issues with everybody, unfortunately, but we'll deal with it. All right, we gotta pay. Oh God, everyone wants pay raise. 75. Don't get upset. Everyone started to get a lot more expensive. Now, so we finished fourth, which I think we finished first last time, so not as good. But fourth ain't horrible by any stretch of the imagination. We are moving up slowly. Our importance for Colt was 47 is what we need. Track progress in our area. We're slowly crawling up. So it seems like every month now we're gaining a little bit more in our area. The next pay-per-view we're going to do it in Mid-Atlantic, which has some spillover already. As you can see, so actually everyone's kind of equally raising up a little bit slowly. But we'll give this a boost because we need, for Colt, 2 areas. So that'll be our next target area. But we'll kind of bounce between those two as we build and develop. Let's go ahead and get to Power. Hopefully there's no more backstage drama. Oh boy, I see a backstage problem. But we are a little bit lower here, which is nice. Looks like Wrestler's Court, probably. Steiner was being a jerk backstage and eventually threw a punch at Pillman. It was a bad enough move. What kind of contract do we have that we can suspend? No, we can't suspend him, right? Yeah, okay. I'm going back and forth playing 2020 and this. Like, usually this would be grayed out or red. Now I'm real confused. We're gonna fine him. I was unhappy. Too bad. Wow, you shouldn't throw punches at people. Jeez. Incident versus Ashley Fox and Chris Jericho. It's a Wrestler's Court situation. Yeah. It's nice that Jericho, despite not being booked, just hanging out backstage, just chilling. So now we went down to a 47 because of the issue with Steiner. Great. That's exactly what we need. Let's try to build something between Pillman and Brody Lee. No effect. That's fine. Presumably we're going to be in the same spot, Southeast Atlantic Studio. We're going to sell out again. We technically are losing some money on the table, but it's fine. Very important for our region, and I'd rather have the hotbed to make the show a little bit hotter, give us a better boost in the crowd. All right, so let's book this show and start building up. Got another one in the books. Let's go ahead and take a look at what we got. Again, really hard to only book 1 hour, unfortunately, but it is what it is. We'll run it with it. So we got Kimber Lee versus Sasha Banks in a match that Sasha is furious about, and whatever. Decent match. We have Kimber Lee defeating Sasha in 7 minutes with a fast roll-up. Kimber Lee and Sasha did not click together. That's bad for our future plans. But did get the crowd hotter. Did get the show off to a strong start. And yeah, your in-ring performances are pretty good. Gives us a D. Not horrendous. Kimber Lee's working on improving her performance skills, which is nice. Afterwards, Sasha is clearly shocked at the quick win and takes it out on Kimber Lee, who's celebrating She ends up attacking her from behind, leveling her out, obviously increasing the feud between the two. We gain heat with the storyline, so the crowd kind of ate it up. Not bad. After that, we have on the show Pinky George coming out and announcing that Carl's Jr. has officially rescinded their sponsorship after the untoward and rude actions of Brian Pillman Jr., and he demands Pillman come out, and Pillman does, and he demands that Pillman relinquish his title because he has defaced it and basically made a mockery of the NWA. Pillman refuses, and tells him to come and get it out of his hands by himself, obviously leaving Pinky kind of at a loss of what to do. Now that he has disobeyed an order from the authority, he could, I guess, fire him, but chooses not to at this time. We do lose some heat with a segment for the storyline, unfortunately, but overall it does okay. After that, we have an interview with Eddie Kingston about Eli Drake, talking to David Marquez and about the situation. Says that, he kind of goes off on Eli Drake, saying that he feels like he's been ignored in the NWA, relegated to the side. All his life, he's just been the guy that's the tough dude that you can put in any match. Even when he was in the NWA, he was just shunned to the side in a tag team that didn't really make sense or didn't matter. And he's sick of playing that fiddle anymore, and he's going to be going for a title. He's going to be going for a challenge, and he wants to prove everybody has ever said that he can't make anything of himself wrong. And he says that, Eli Drake is basically the antithesis to him, and he's going to challenge him for it. He's going to make him a statement. So we kind of get a story for Eddie Kingston. He's hungry for action. We gain some heat for the story, got the crowd hotter, and kind of building up a bit of division between the two. Just a random exhibition match, we give Wheeler a win against Ricky Starks in about 5 minutes of submission. And Wheeler had a 38. Great performance. Like, we can move him up pretty quickly, I think. Ricky Starks had a 27. Match overall isn't great, but it's did what it was designed to do. We have a tag team match between the Ascension and the Von Erichs. The Von Erichs defeat the Ascension in 12 minutes. Ross ends up getting the win this time. And yeah, it's okay. Josephus out there ringside working it. Connor had a 39, Victor had a 42, and the Von Erichs had about a 40 and a 43. We kind of advanced two separate storylines, sort of, but not really. The Colt Cabana one didn't really involve anything involving here, but just because they're also in it, sort of kind of advanced it. We gain heat for the Von Erich story as we kind of give them a chain of wins, showing their potential. Obviously, they are our Alliance Tag Title champions, but they're trying to go for the gold that matters. Afterwards, they cut a promo and they say that they are intending to challenge for the titles. They want to bring it home and bring the Von Erichs legacy, back to Southwest. Wants to kind of make their family legacy proud, and the only way to do it is to become NWA Tag Title champions. Advance the story. It doesn't do great or bad. It's about average. Our main event kind of sucks. Mostly, I think Tim Storm, but we needed someone in there. We have Pillman and Brody and Tim Storm versus the Boardroom. And it's an elimination match. And obviously, the Boardroom has beef with these two, and Tim Storm's kind of tagging along because we need another face for this match. So he's just kind of there. Pillman ends up winning. We have in the elimination match, it's actually Hanson first, then Tim Storm, then Rowe, and then finally Nick Aldis. Flow of the match did hurt. We tried to give Tim Storm some limited involvement. Brody Lee looked excellent, got the crowd buzzing. Overall, everyone did pretty well except for Tim Storm, who suffered for his involvement, which is weird because I think the point of this was to not have his in-ring performance, be as much of a problem. I guess, again, maybe I don't understand that match angle, because the whole idea was that you limit the person who's bad in the ring so that you don't do as much, but then you actually get a worse rating for it, because I think he can do like a 30. So I don't know. It's very odd. Hansen's improving his performance skills. Overall, the match is it's fine, but we give further legitimacy to Brian Pillman, kind of letting him and Brody Lee play off each other a little bit. Not like an uneasy alliance here. Not really relating in any way, just in terms of the enemy of my enemy is my friend kind of situation. And Nick Aldis kind of starting to bump heads between them. So we see that Pillman is becoming a contender, and that's kind of what we want. So the match is not great. Did increase our popularity, though. That's all we need. All right, let's take a look at our mail before we get out of here. They're unhappy about Power. That's fine. We had a .21. It's one of the first times that we actually had a less than great show. Still got a great reception, though. But, you know, that is what it is. It's fine. I'm kind of curious. I feel like he could be... Yep, main eventer. So let's move him up now. So, Pillman's now in the main event. And we have to decide in a couple weeks whether we want him to challenge for the belt, if Jericho will actually let him win, without being pissy about the whole situation, or if we wait on that, but we have him in the position that we wanted, which was going from the low card up, and only going to go probably further. He's already moving up pretty quickly in the popularity bracket, and he's still a young lion, so we're still going to get a lot more performance enhancement out of him as we continue developing him, which is nice. So we will have to see what happens with him, with our show, and what direction we're going to go with. I could see him challenging for the championship. Could see him winning or losing. I could see him winning and getting it stolen from by Brody Lee, or I could see it, him losing and Chris Jericho stealing it or getting it stolen from Chris Jericho. So there's tons of options that we have to go. We still have a lot of time to develop it, kind of see what works the best, gets people happy, and we start to develop some immunity from these morale issues that we're starting to have. But New Jack's not there anymore, so we'll start to get out of it. Anyways, it's a long episode today. That is it for today, and I will see you guys next time for another 2 episodes of Power as we continue to move towards Mid-Atlantic Mayhem. See you guys next time.